Hello, people. It is I, Brandon, the Starseed. So, instead of boring you guys with like talking about work stuff and all that, today I think we're going to go into kind of more of a other realm. So I'm going to talk more about like aliens. It's a topic I like to talk about, and so I'll talk a little bit about that. So, for one, I am a starseed. What I mean by that is that I am an alien soul, so not from this planet. I've lived on other planets. I've been in other civilizations. Predominantly, I identify as an Arturian, but it goes kind of further back than that. Most of that has been found out through like past life regressions and meditations and really crazy dreams and automatic writing, that kind of stuff. So I believe in that because it works for me. So yay. But as far as like what kind of aliens are on this planet, is there an Area 51, like all that kind of stuff. I have like a lot of theories basically. What I've learned is that if you study like a lot of stuff without expecting a certain result or without looking for a result, but you just study what's out there, what other people are putting out there, you will start to see certain patterns and trends developing. And kind of what I figured out is that it does seem like there's three things, all right? One, alien civilizations, if you want to call them that, have been interacting with human civilizations on this planet going way far back. So like ancient aliens, not wrong. A lot of the evidence for different types of technologies and different types of knowledge that people at the time didn't necessarily possess, or our history has convinced us that they didn't possess. It just shows that there's been some more interaction than we think. I also think that this has gone further back than we think it has, and all the way back to like Atlantis and any of those previous civilizations where the whole planet was kind of different than it is now. And I think that the human bloodline, or the DNA, has rise and fall situations on this planet where, for reasons, the herd gets thinned, and then the populations come back up again. So that's the one, is that I do think aliens have been involved in history on the planet. There's a lot of evidence for that, and it seems like, especially if you look at some of the stuff going on in India and some of the radioactive stuff that's in rock, either humans were way more intelligent than we thought, which I think is true, or aliens were interacting, which I think is also true. I think it's a combination of both. I think usually in situations where things start to lead to like this or this, sometimes it's just a blend of both, In this situation, I think it is. Humans were smarter in the past, during like Atlantean times, Lemuria, all those kind of things. And we lost a lot of that knowledge, but it was the aliens who helped us become that smart and who continually feed us trickle feed us the knowledge to get us back up to that level again, over and over again. It's a pattern. We destroy ourselves, maybe they destroy us, maybe something completely out of the blue destroys everyone. I don't know. So two, are aliens on Earth now interacting? Yes. But I don't think it's at the levels that we think it is. I think that a lot of them have chosen to do this through the Starseed program, meaning that they can basically be in a human form or linked to a human form, kind of a Truman Showy experience if they don't want to be truly in it, and they can still experience life. So if you ever feel like you're being watched all the time, like you feel like there's just this consciousness that's always aware of everything you're doing and maybe judging you, that's probably just that sometimes these aliens don't latch on to somebody, they're just in their presence, and they're kind of vicariously living through you, but they're not actually... See, now, a lot of people would think that's like possession or things like that, or maybe like a haunting. Maybe a lot of that's been misinterpreted. But they don't mean any harm. It's like a Truman Show thing to them. They just want to be near enough to your presence to feel your emotional state as you interact with things and as you go through life. They don't actually want to be in your body feeling it, though. There's like a difference between the Starseed and that group. We don't really know much about that group. They've been misidentified, misinterpreted, and some of them maybe aren't the nicest. Maybe some of them are tied into bloodlines. So if your mother, grandmother, great-grandmother kind of always had the same vibe, maybe it's something like that. And if you didn't notice it until somebody in the maternal or paternal line passed away, and then you notice it, that's another teller that maybe this is a bloodline thing. It's an alien that's literally watching one bloodline from the beginning of time all the way till the end of time vicariously through every living member or a certain part of that. Sounds crazy, I know, but hey, that's what this video is about, is the crazy theories that I'm working on. These are all theories. These are all things that I'm kind of putting together based on, like, evidence, based on, released science, based on, a lot of other people's work, basically. And I'm just theorizing, It seems logical to me. It feels right when I'm kind of vibing with it. So that was the two, is that the aliens are here now, but they're in different forms than we think they are. There are physical aliens, but I don't think they're aliens. I think there is actually a reptilian-type species that has been on this planet the whole time, like from the beginning till now. And I think they are underground-ish, Maybe they possess some type of telepathy where they can kind of blend in when they need to. I don't know. I don't necessarily think they're bad or good. I just think that they have their own agenda, But they're not part of my agenda. Like, in no way do I interact with them, nor do I telepathically connect to them. But I can sense there's something there. I was at Mount Shasta and I sensed that there's stuff underground there. But it wasn't what I thought it was. It's not like a lost civilization of Lemuria or something like the legends say. This is like just a different culture. Like, I think reptilian, it's the only way I can describe it, but it's different. It's very structured. It's very hierarchical. It's like a triangle kind of system on the way their families have and retain power throughout their societies, and they're kind of almost isolated in that, like, there's little villages of them maybe underground, if you want to put it that way, some bigger than others, and some, they're connected, I guess, but they're not necessarily culturally connected. I think each one's a little different. Each one has their own little vibe. I'm sorry if it's windy. It's windy. It might snow here next week, which is cool. Yay. But yeah, so I do think that a lot of the reptilian kind of concepts aren't really aliens. I think those are just beings that are on this planet, and that may even exist on some of the moons underground, or even underground in Mars. I don't know. There's a whole other life form. They're not genetically tied to the project, the human DNA, so that's why they're not really on my radar, They don't experience emotions in the same complexity. That's the thing. That's really the only separate thing. They are more logical. And speaking of logical, the Greys. That exists. I do think that the Greys exist. There's all different types of Greys, though. There's Greys that are like a clone race that do, just like busy work. Like, you might as well treat them like they're a drone, There's other Greys that actually are very sentient, very intelligent. They usually are the ones that you'll see more leading or involved in some of the abductions, where they're taller than the other ones. So the taller ones, I guess. There's some that seem kind of creepy, but really they all have their own agenda as well. And again, DNA. That's all it boils down to. Testing the blending of different DNA. And as humans start to unlock DNA, a lot of this stuff's going to be very obvious, that like DNA was rapidly altered and changed multiple times throughout history, and it wasn't just adaptations, because it was happening sequentially, meaning that like in places in like Africa, and places in like Europe, and places in like Brazil, right, random places across the globe, the DNA mutations were happening simultaneously, and there was no reason for that, except for when the sun sends certain codes, it activates certain things that were planted there from the beginning. And if we start to unravel the DNA, we'll see that there's stuff planted for the future. And when the sun hits the certain activation codes, not just the sun, but other things, but primarily the sun, there you go. It'll unlock that for whatever group is genetically part of that group, that plan. It's very confusing. I don't know most of it. I'm literally just here, like as a starseed, to try to gather information so that I can correlate better the emotional context, because it's one thing to read, mission reports or see like the history of a planet, but to be in it from, all the different time periods and experience the emotional complexity of those that lived in it, that there's just more knowledge there. So from like even before Arturian energy, whatever I am is just primarily just curious, and I just want to experience that. So all of that was part of the number 2, which is do aliens, are they here now? Yes, the governments might be interacting with them, might be. They probably don't know what they're getting out of it, and the aliens probably don't know what they're getting out of it. It's probably a two-way, nobody's really winning. Lose-lose. But we have iPhones now, so kind of win? I don't know. Third thing, though, is, are aliens going to conquer the planet in the future, or are they dangerous? And it can't be all like, hey, everything's fine, the universe is fine. That's not necessarily true. But at the same time, I really don't think anything is going to conquer Earth now. I think that if there was ever a threat level where something felt like it needed Earth, that civilization would not like, we couldn't do anything about it, you know? It would just happen. So there's no point in worrying or stressing about something like that, you know? If a galactic expressway has to go through and some bureaucrat has signed an order that makes it happen, there's nothing we can do. But that aside, I really don't see the universe as this hostile, aggressive place where aliens are going around destroying and colonizing like the Borg or something. I don't even think it's that much like Earth, you know. I think that we think that what happens here is a micro of what happens out there, but if you look at history, cultures actually do get more peaceful. We do have, you know, less and less war and less killing over long periods of time if you study history. And as the, you know, global economy kind of brings everyone together, there's less and less of a reason to be aggressive because it doesn't help in the long run. And so I think that if we are just at a point in Earth's history where we can't see the long game, but if you understand the long game, you realize that any civilization that's flying around in space, unless they stole the technology or were given it or woke up one day and had it, they had to earn it. And to earn it, they kind of had to go through all of that as a civilization so that they were mature. And maybe Earth's just not mature, you know? And maybe that's fine. This is part of the process. These are like those 14 through 17 years old, you know? Just like the puberty part, I guess. That's what's happening, I feel like, on Earth right now with the human species. They're starting to understand what they are, but very few of them are understanding what to do with that, you know? They understand how important they are as a soul in this form, but they don't understand what that means on the global level, what they're able to anchor. So the number 3, are aliens dangerous? Maybe. But it is what you focus on. If you only want to focus on danger and evil and negativity, that's what you're going to get in the universe. But if you choose to assume that anything like that exists is going to be spending so much of its time going after those that are wanting that, then just don't want that, and there'll be plenty of good things out there, and the good things are looking to find a way to each and every one of us. There are billions of civilizations out there in the universe right now in real time. I'm not talking like they all aged and died and they're gone. These are happening right now in real time, because time, linear time, experiencing time, all of this is fuzzy. The way that our planet experiences time in every individual bubble, planet, whatever, gravity well, is it's fuzzy. But the way that when you get outside of this dimension and you kind of connect to the souls that are in all these bodies, time is different. You can connect to them in different ways. I don't know how to explain that other than that. Try it. You know, you'd be surprised if you just open yourself up for positive energy. Positive energy might find you. So that's my kind of chat about aliens. They existed. They still exist. Reptilians might not be alien. We might be more alien on this planet than they are. Aliens can be in non-physical form, hence a lot of poltergeists and hauntings could actually just be multidimensional beings. They might not exist in a linear time fashion, so they can blip in and out. They might be tied in with DNA. Abductions are usually tied in with DNA and usually tied in with fertility. You don't see a lot of people who are infertile having abductions. Just saying, almost all abductions are people who happen to also be fertile. If you do a correlation, they're not taking people that have been castrated. So, you know, So that's all I got for today. It's been a fun week. It'll be another fun week. Enjoy. I'll do this again. Bye.